What's up, Buttercup? Welcome back to my channel. Today's tag video is the banned books book tag. Thank you for tagging me, Gareth, and shout out to the creator of this tag, Miss Peepers-Reading-Corner. I do have a very similar, it's not a tag, but a very similar video that I'm going to link down below and also link at the end of this video. It is me going over the Banned Books Week event and what it is, and I will also showcase a comment from Dove Makes on one of her videos when a European fan of hers asked about Sunrise on the Reaping specifically, and how Dove and like Americans in general could be reading banned books, because how can you read a book if it's actually banned? And so I do actually mention that technically, if we're talking about the word banned, that's not accurate for the United States. There have been borderline issues, but I'm just going to put up what Dove said in reply to her European fan. Keep what Dove said in mind when it comes to the word banned books in the United States specifically. Because yeah, I don't agree with using the word banned. I will use censored and challenged because that's more accurate. Because let's get into semantics, but yes, if people say that words matter, then in this case, words matter. That's my soapbox for today. Okay, we're gonna get into the tag. Number one, do you intentionally read banned books? Why or why not? I will read whatever I want to read. So it doesn't matter the status of it. I just pick up stuff that I will probably be interested in. And that's about it. Now, I've had people say, and we'll get to this later, don't read this book or else, and it's an indirect threat. And I don't do that shit, so I will read that book. Thank you. Don't tell me what to do. Number two, tell us your favorite banned book. Well, I have quite a few favorite books that have been censored and challenged. I really liked The Handmaid's Tale, Lord of the Flies. I'm looking. There's so much. Like, I'm sure The Exorcist has been challenged because it's pretty messed up. And let's see. Oh yeah, My Dark Vanessa. Oh, Ninth House. That's a good one as well. Yeah, I've got a lot. I mean, yeah, broadly speaking, a lot of books have been challenged or censored in the United States. Number three, share a story about book banning. Well, this is actually a pretty good one. It's not a legitimate ban, but it was for sure censored. Now, a long time ago when I was on Twitter in 2018, when it was still Twitter, the book Blood Air was set to publish, and I don't know how many ARC copies were sent out, but there were a few ARC readers that were up in arms about some stuff that happened in Blood Air. And so, oh my god, that was a shit show, because the publishers got so freaked out, and so did the author, that at first they pulled the book for publication. Okay. And there were multiple accusations, one of which was that a Chinese immigrant, so she might have American citizenship now, but during this time she was a Chinese immigrant. She was accused of racism, that there could not be slavery in her book because she is Chinese. I don't get it. I'm just saying what was going on. I'm not saying that it made sense. That was the thing. And also there was plagiarism, issues with The Hunger Games and Lord of the Rings. The one with The Hunger Games is there is a funeral scene, and the main character puts flowers around the body. And then there's a quote, kind of a quote, like it's a paraphrase, whatever, in Blood Air that is supposedly the same in The Lord of the Rings. However, that paraphrased quote from The Lord of the Rings is actually a paraphrased quote from the Bible. And then the funeral thing. Have you never been to a funeral? Putting flowers around a dead body does not mean plagiarism from The Hunger Games when Katniss does it. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So those were like the two minor ones. The other things were that there were problems with racism and slavery. But as she stated later on, there are huge issues in China and also in many other parts of the world that slavery is still happening. And in her book, in Blood Air, there are people with magic and there are people without magic. It's basically very fantasy trope. So I saw this happening and I said, I don't trust these people because I haven't read the book. I want to read the book. And I read the book. I saw no problem. I saw absolutely no problem. But it was pulled from publication for a couple weeks. Then she comes out, the writer, and she says, I take back my apology and I will live my truth. And this book is going to publish. And so will the other two books in the series because it's a trilogy. And people got real pissed. I mean, before, during, and after. But it was the dumbest shit I've ever seen. Don't tell me what's happening in a book that hasn't been published. I don't know you. There were just a couple of ARC readers that had a huge problem, and then it was just a gossip train. I don't trust y'all. I do not trust any of you and what you have to say. Give me the book. I will read the book. Oh, and it turns out the book was fine. Oh, okay. And when I tweeted out, because I was one of maybe 5 readers/writers saying this isn't okay. Oh, did I get dogpiled? But here's the thing. You can only be canceled if you allow yourself to be canceled. I sat there in my house with my phone, with that Twitter app, and I said, y'all can fuck off. I'm getting spicy because that still pisses me off. You are censoring someone. The book hasn't even come out yet. Are you for real? I don't trust y'all because I don't trust strangers on the internet. I don't know. I don't like you. I don't know you. You don't get to tell me or like hundreds of thousands of people if they can or cannot read this book because you think. I don't care what you think. Okay. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. And the other writers that got crap for it, they doubled down as well. Like Francina Simone, she's not on BookTube, AuthorTube. I don't know where she is at. Unfortunately, she's a really cool person. But she was saying on her video, and I think it's still around, you just like type in Blood Air Francina Simone, and she was like, y'all need to stop. And she got into a few fights with a few other writers that agreed with pulling the book. And she's like, you can't, this is such a slippery slope. Do not do this. And you can't say that other people can't read this book because just a couple of people say that it's not good. Basically, this the same as I was saying. You can't. You shouldn't. I mean, they did, so therefore you can. But then the publishing house, and I'm sure the agent and editor and the writer was like, actually, never mind. And they pulled that back, and the 3 books are out. It did a great run. and the controversy, at least with that book, died down. But there were other books that year that were pulled from publication because there was a dogpiling and witch hunts. Inappropriate. I had so many people unfollow me. I had so many people block me. I had so many people disliking my videos on BookTube, which at that point in 2018, I was maybe posting like 2 videos per month. Like, I wasn't totally into it. I was really, really focused on writing, and then also trauma therapy and just a bunch of stuff going on. But then it just became really obvious that there was a disliking party. Before that whole thing happened, I had, 5 likes, whatever, on those videos that I had posted that month and then the month before. And that was totally fine. And then I would get like 5 dislikes on each video. So a bunch of people were just dislike. And I don't know if that hurt my channel. It might have, because it did not pick up for a long time, also because I was not very active. But okay, at the end of the day, that actually really didn't affect me personally. Maybe it affected the channel for a little bit, but I was like, are we 12? We're 12. Okay. I mean, yeah. That's so bad. Yeah, but Blood Heir, the trilogy, it's young adult fantasy, and if you're interested in that, it's still out for publication. Congratulations. And the writer's still writing other books for young adult readers. Congrats. You did the right thing by taking back your apology and publishing not just Blood Heir, but the rest of the trilogy. And I'll also give props to the agent, editor, and publishing house, because they could have said, oh no, but they went forward. So that is the closest I got to banning. It was censoring. It was challenging. That was a hot mess. And yeah, in 2020, I completely dropped Twitter because it complete and utter dumpster fire, and it still is. It got worse. I don't see any positives for Twitter/X in 2020 and now. And really, even in 2018, what was it? I don't even know. I don't know what was the point. I don't regret it, but if you're thinking of joining, don't do it. You don't need it. Number 4, which book would you memorize to save it from the censors, aka something like Fahrenheit 451? Probably Animal Farm, because it's short. I'm not gonna go for anything big because my memory is shit and it's just not gonna happen. Number 5, are there any books that challenge your opinions on book banning? No, even the really bad ones, because I had to read parts and then enough parts that it was the full Mein Kampf for history classes. And really, I don't think that, and that's just an example because it's like the worst that I can think of, and probably what you can think of. That's still in circulation. If you are a history buff and like getting a degree, but like especially a master's or a PhD in World War II and even World War I, then you need to read Mein Kampf. If you don't read it, you're getting a lot of missing information. And I know that, well, I'm pretty sure, at least when I was having to read it for a history class in college, that particular copy was like a PDF. So it was like, it was illegally downloaded. No, it probably wasn't illegally downloaded. Because how fucking old is that stupid piece of shit? It's like, I wasn't paying for it. Now there were other people that, like, if you're a World War II historian with a PhD and you do basically everything regarding World War II, arguably you need that copy. So it's kind of shitty that you do, but no, you do, to understand Adolf Hitler and everything that happened because of World War. Like, you do. Now, where are you going to put that book? In your home, if you're a World War II PhD historian that does all the things with World War II, maybe put it like in a corner. You're not going to display that, no. But I would say a great example of, there are even times where the most outrageous, disgusting, vile book has some type of use. It's a very specific use, but it's a legitimate use. Now, I really enjoy Greg Lukianoff. He runs FIRE, and that is a freedom of speech organization in the United States. And he said, and I really agree with him, that he is a opinion absolutist, not a free speech absolutist, because of course you can't say threatening things, and I'm not even going to say it because I don't want my channel to be reported, but you can't say certain things, right? Especially bodily harm on others. So there is a line for free speech, but I want to hear your opinion, just like Greg wants to hear your opinion, and I want to, if I feel up to it, I want to debate with better speech and better opinions, and I also just want to know where you're at. I want to know if you, for example, think that the Civil War was just about states' rights. I would like to know, because we're all on the same page and I know what you're about, just for example. Now, if that is uncomfortable for people, and there's a lot of people that don't want to have anything to do with it, that's fine. But you shouldn't be dictating what other people get to do, in the sense that if someone like a Civil War historian with 30 plus years of research and experience wants to debate a person that thinks that the Civil War was just about states' rights, they should be able to do that. So saying that the person that thinks it's just about states' rights, their speech needs to be completely censored. No, say you can't open your mouth even because it's offensive. Well, but what about the person that has 30 plus years of experience that can absolutely annihilate that person? Okay, I want to know where people are at, and I want to have the ability for myself or others, if they want to debate and to win. I am going to counteract the bad speech with logical speech, with better speech, with a better understanding of the topic at hand, because I've done so much research, and here we go, circling it back to books. I have read so many articles, peer reviews, books, so on and so forth, that I can demolish that bad opinion. I think that is a legitimate way, one of the few legitimate ways to change someone's mind, because you can't control other people. You can just control yourself and what you say and how do you say it. But really calling people stupid, idiots, pieces of trash, so on and so forth, that's not going to change their mind. That's just going to make them be very, very rebellious. So I just want healthy debate, to be able to debate, and then that, comes around with, I want to have books available for all, and there are going to be people that will read those bad books for nefarious reasons. You can't control other people in that way, especially when, and you see this with music, you saw this so much with metal, rock, punk, hip hop, rap. You say, oh, you kids, you teenagers, you young adults even, you can't listen to this. This is terrible. Well, that just makes people want to do the thing. So just think about that a little bit. Just think about that, right? Now, I did talk a little bit more about Greg in the Banned Books Week event video that I've linked down below, and it's also going to be at the end of this video. So please do check him out in that specific video. And then he did a podcast on Inner Cosmos about free speech and how the brain functions with free speech. Very fascinating. I'll also link that down below. And I will link the Fire Foundation that he runs also down below. We've got a lot of citations, all that stuff, but I think that's very important. Lastly, number 6, tag people. I'm going to tag David G, Elaine, Ven, Kat, Stewart, Bookless Pete, Suey, Cliff, and Jen. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.